guys, welcome in to another episode of Sound Supply. I'm your host, Eric Huber. Great to be here. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. And welcome in. We got a brand new topic for you guys going towards distance learning and how that has affected the commercial AV industry. And the main topic for today is the effects of distance learning on AV systems in education applications. So we know, obviously, that things have changed drastically during these times. And let's talk about some of those effects on us in the commercial AV world, and how we were affected by all that. It's been pretty chaotic. And I have a couple of points that I want to discuss. We won't make this too long. I'm sure you guys, being out there in the field, know much more than I do. But based on feedback that I've gotten from the field, from the phone calls that we have received, I've learned a lot. I have family involved in distance learning. I think everybody educationally in some point has either talked about it, discussed it, or knows about what's going on. So a couple main points I just want to go through them real quick. The learning curve for the end user, that's the teacher, that's the student. Environmental factors, that could be doing a classroom session from a home setting like this, all the way to the person receiving the information or the students that are in the classroom themselves. The type of distance learning application, the scale or project, how large or how small that might be, and the time that goes into this. More importantly, the time that happens after the installation process. So let's go back to the first point, which is the actual learning curve itself. I think this was a huge, and this ties into the post-support topic that I'm going to bring up at the very end, but the learning curve for the teachers and students that were actually just thrown into the wind here or into the wolves. And, the drastic steps that they had to take to actually learn these new programs and how to conduct naturally to their students. I mean, it was a complete shift. And a lot of that pushback, or, we absorbed a lot of those questions, right? So that obviously took a lot of time. So the two factors here are going to be software and hardware. I think software would be the biggest curve if the hardware is set up properly pre-installation. And that's how a lot of our, commercial integrators actually work, is it's kind of set and forget, and the end user has little interaction. But in this case, the end user has a lot of interaction, not only with the hardware, but also with the software. But more importantly, the software is going to be the tool that's actually being used on the forefront. So I'm sure a lot of you guys had to learn the softwares that were being used or utilized out there in the education field. I mean, a lot of time was taken here, and your support increased based on these new needs or these new applications. So we were heavily impacted on that. And not only, the teachers and students that were affected, but us as integrators and manufacturers, and learning these new systems. Next point is environmental factors. Obviously, a lot of people were not set up for this situation. So keep that in mind. And this goes hand in hand with what, we currently do, is, setting up spaces for optimal acoustic performance. We want to make sure you sound good. Us being an audio company, we want to make sure you sound good. Visually, obviously, I'm sure a lot of you audio integrators have also been introduced to new visual technology, including webcams and higher end type video equipment. And, this could apply to all different types of settings, whether that be the home, the office, or the classroom itself. And this ties hand in hand to my next points here, and that's going to be the type of distance learning application. What actually entails the day-to-day activities when it comes to that type of distance learning? So it could be hybrid, could be a flex type situation, right? It could be 100% remote. Could be a lot of different things. if it is hybrid, the hybrid installations, and that's where a lot of these are going towards, are much more complex, when it comes to delivering properly, because you have the delivery being done at home or in a single room with one person, and then you have the receiving end, which is, it could be in a classroom, so the classroom has to be set up acoustically and visually, and some of those students could be at home. It's a lot. We get it. It's a lot. But that's a huge factor in how we were affected when that keeps, when this happened. The way people received information completely changed. So we're mainly used to physical, installations, and now it's, instead of worrying about one commercial space, it's now tied into maybe 100. It's pretty insane. Going forward, let's talk about the scale or the project. So we have, it could be small private institutions all the way up to large college campuses. I mean, it's a huge range of businesses or educational businesses that can go from a simple installation all the way up to a huge college network type application. I mean, these things are they could be massive. They could be massive, and we definitely need to keep that in mind when we're. So again, it's all tailored towards the application. I believe that the pre-work involved when setting up these systems has been immensely increased, especially on the larger scale. And obviously the post-type support has also increased. And that brings me into my last point, which is time. The time to learn these new systems, and then the time to provide post-support or product training has dramatically increased based on that. So you guys out there, obviously you deal with all different types of manufacturers and different equipment. And I'm sure, once people began remote learning, your support calls probably increased dramatically. And not only was it a learning experience for your customers, but also a learning experience for yourselves as well, which is great. I mean, I love to learn new things every single day. And this was a great time. We were busy, but this was a great time to learn and to grow into the future. And I think that's one of the main points that I definitely want to push forward is, always learn something new, especially in this industry as things are changing. It's a very, very powerful tool, and it's gonna be a learning experience going forward for all of us. And it's a really cool thing. And now as manufacturers, we're able to build around these concerns that we experienced during this whole thing. And then we're just meeting the needs of our clientele. So it's tough to predict the future, obviously, but the hybrid situation, the remote learning situation has dramatically increased, and people are starting to get used to it. They enjoy it. Some enjoy it, some don't enjoy it. So we have to cater to different types of crowds and institutions based on the needs of our clients, the needs of the teachers out there, the ones that are in the forefront, and the students. So we want to make sure we're getting feedback from these teachers, from these students, to make sure that this is an effective program. This is an effective system. Is hybrid learning, or is remote learning or distance learning the future? And how effective is that really? And there's both sides of the story. We can have a huge discussion on that, but we need to keep that in mind, and we need to understand that. All right, guys, once again, Eric from TOA Electronics. Again, guys, if you have any questions, comments, anything you want me to discuss or talk about, let me know. Comment below. Follow all of our socials. We're coming at you every single Monday with a brand new podcast, and also webinars every second to last week of every single month on a Wednesday. We usually do it around 2:00 Eastern based on your feedback. Those are going to be more technical. So we're going to be diving into products essentially in the webinars. These are more going to be lifestyle oriented, based on the environment, based on what's going on currently, and where we're seeing shifts, where we're seeing trends, all little cool things like that. So, all right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. We'll see you next week and take care.